Hello and welcome to Skyrim Pix episode 6. As always, we've got 5 grace images by 5 talented Skygraphers. Can you hear the rustling of the trees? How about the sound of grasshoppers? Does the ground feel soft and fluffy under your fur boots? Do you know where you are yet? I don't think there's many of us who would deny the beauty of a majestic forest. Now, I don't live near one. I might get to hear the occasional chatter of starlings and parrots, but that's about it. Even if I lived in a forest, I don't think I'd ever grow tired of the sights and sounds of nature. Guys, this week's theme is, of course, forests. First up, we have an image by TireStacker. The first thing notable about this image is the strong angles that dominate every aspect of it. Nothing is straight. From the sloping grassy hill on the right to the sloping rock on the left. Even the nearest trees slope inwards. A moody light rests up ahead. It's like a gentle, foggy mist that simply dwells amongst the distant trees. Throughout the image, more visible on the rock closest to us, are specks of light, glued to different surfaces. It's obvious these specks are caused by light bursting through gaps in trees that are out of sight. Now these specks create something more than just a pretty pattern. They portray the atmosphere of the image. You can almost feel the dense forest behind you. The presence of light specks means that light is trying to break through the thick leaves and high treetops. Perhaps you have been walking for ages and are just reaching an opening up ahead.
This must be it. Purple flowers mark both the end and the beginning. That's what he said. He must mean the end of the forest and the beginning of my journey. I wish he wasn't so cryptic. Must keep moving.
Next we have the beautiful rift by Wubba Bubba. This is a wide and panoramic image. The strong autumn colour is magical and the crop of this image is really causing some tension. I feel I want to see the forest floor. That way I could grasp the size of the trees properly. As it is, I can barely see the tops of the distant trees, leaving me with no option but to speculate how big this forest really is. The lonely figure of the man standing on a rock creates even more tension. How high is the rock? If the rock is bigger than him, how big is the forest? The removal of the forest floor is successful in creating the feel of vastness in this image. The trees are fuzzy and soft looking. We can see gentle warming lights hugging some of the tree trunks. Perhaps it's about to rain. We can see hints of an overcast sky. The colours are a vibrant mix of oranges and pinks. The essence of autumn is definitely found in this image.
Can you see the mountain? Yes, but it's a long way off. We've been walking for ages. Let us rest a while. No, I don't want to be out here when it gets dark. Let's keep moving.
Our third image is by Resin Javic. There are two main things going on in this image, the depth of field and the strong leading line. The depth of field is spot on. Beautifully close moss-covered rocks are in full focus. Beyond them, the blur begins, gradually becoming more intense as the image continues into the distance. The strong leading line is more in the form of a vacant space, a sort of pathway that is made solely by the presence of the two rocks. We can also see a very striking lens flare. The sky between the mountain and the distant trees is lit up and beautiful strobes of light rain down towards the moss-covered rocks. 3 polygons of light also follow suit, the largest one coming to rest on the rock. The grass looks vibrant, soft and spongy, and the pathway seems to invite us forward. We don't know what would be beyond it. A river? A cliff edge? More grass on a lower hill? Our curiosity is awakened.
Shall we see what's over there?
I'll check it's safe. You stay with the horses.
What do you see?
Our fourth image is by Lower Hot. This image is a good example of a low-angle shot. The image has not been taken from the ground itself. Being uphill, the grass would have engulfed both the distant shack and the majority of the image. An important thing to note when taking low-angled images is to keep everything level. This image is successful, everything is level, the land is sloped naturally from right to left, and the trees are straight. We also have to mention their composition briefly. We can see the shack seems quite centred, as though not adhering to composition rules. This is true if we apply the rule of thirds, but if we apply the golden ratio, namely the phi grid, we can see the shack actually does follow composition rules. The image is dark, overcast, going into nightfall soon. Rain appears to be falling. The shack looks cold with the absence of a lit campfire, and the trees surround it, almost closing in on the tiny and isolated hut.
Did you bring the firewood? Actually, yes. I stopped to pick up some nice dry ones with a pack of wolves on my tail. Did you outrun them? Would I be here if I did not?
Last but not least, we have this image by Ista. This image is vivid and bursting with colour in a breathtaking way. Rich autumn reds, oranges and yellows are teamed with bright summer greens and pure whites. The colours themselves are so bright and the variations so numerous that we spend a few moments simply processing the information. The rich grass in the foreground and the various leaves dotted around are touched gracefully by the orange sun, and the dense trees either side of the forest opening cradle a distant scene. As you look at the far-off birch tree, almost disintegrating by the blazing array of orange spokes bursting their way into the thick forest, you see beautiful pink, yellow and blue polygons travelling downwards towards a hue of yellow on the forest floor. Then you see something astonishing. A tiny campsite with a burning campfire. If, like me, you didn't spot this straight away, the image will have transformed before your eyes. The forest would have grown. The trees would have suddenly felt far more majestic than they did a moment ago. You once asked me why I stay in Skyrim.
That I most certainly did.
Well, this is why. Beautiful, right?
Beautiful sun, blazing fire, perfect company. Who could want more?
That's it for this week. As always, please find the Skygraphers linked in the description, and if you love their images like I did, endorse, like or comment on them. Also, if you enjoy Skyrim Pix, please like and subscribe. I'm always open to suggestions on themes and ideas. Please let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you all next week with episode 7.